Welcome to Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein podcast, as we lay out and simplify the various aspects of intellectual property law. We hope you enjoy this episode. We're going to be discussing the second of the three-part installment series on trademarks. And I welcome back our, I'll say, moderator and esteemed intern, Russell Pig.
Thank you again. So, to my understanding, there's three different types of trademark registration. That would be common law, state registration, and federal registration, which we talked about briefly in the first episode of this series. And so, tell me what the differences between the three are, and what are the benefits of each?
To start, with respect to common law rights, they are basically the cheapest and easiest rights to acquire, in that you don't really have to do anything other than to start selling or selling your goods or performing your services. And therefore, there's pretty much no cost to doing that. And you establish these common law rights right from the start. What common law rights cover is the geographic local region, which is kind of undefined, and therefore one of the disadvantages of the common law rights is it's unclear as to how far or how broad the protection goes. With respect to states' registrations, they only cover rights within a particular state. They used to be more common. Today, they've become less common. Generally, if you have, let's say, goods that you're literally only selling locally or within a particular state, or within your state, or you're providing a service literally very locally, you don't have clients from out of state, and what it is, it's a relatively simple registration process. The states generally, I'm not familiar with all 50 states, but are filed in, let's say, California, Virginia, and Maryland and New York. It's a pretty simple registration process. There's really not an examination process. It's pretty simple form, and but you're limited to the rights within that particular state.
Let me butt in real quick. So say one person had businesses across, they lived on the border of two states, and they had one business on one side, one business on the other side of the border. Would they be able to file a state registration in both of those states and get protection in those two states? And would that make sense, or would it make more sense to just do it federally at that point?
You could do that, file in both states. It would generally make more sense to file federally. With federal registration, how the government gets its jurisdiction is because you have interstate commerce. And today, with people moving, traveling on the highways and all of that good stuff, or selling on eBay or Amazon, generally very few products and very few services are performed solely within a state. There may be reasons to file within a particular state. You're concerned about services or goods that are being performed only in another part of the country, and it may avoid potential infringement rights in that regard. And your remedies are somewhat limited, but it does provide notice. Someone can go on the state registry and see that there's a state registration.
Okay. And so let's get into federal registration. Obviously, it comes with the most amount of protections and benefits. So what exactly do those look like, and why should someone register federally?
The most common, I don't know if it's the most common, because everyone has common law rights based on the use or the sale or the performing of the services. With federal registration, you can be selling in multiple jurisdictions. You can be performing services in multiple jurisdictions. It's when you file with the USPTO, you do not get a registration until you have actual use. So if you have an intent to use, you cannot get a registration. But when you have actual use and in interstate commerce, so you're selling to someone out of state or performing a service with someone out of state, then you can acquire a federal registration.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that the federal registration comes with the most amount of protections. And so you talked a little bit about selling online. Is it possible at all to get protections while selling online from anything other than federal registration?
Yes. I mean, with e-commerce, you get, I mean, pretty much everything is sold interstate, and it's with respect to, interstate travel, you're driving on the highway and you're servicing people from out of state. Generally, accountants serve people in multiple jurisdictions. So therefore, it's very advantageous to get the federal registration.
Right. All right. Well, that was good. We got the benefits of each, and I think that's a good representation of each different registration. We can wrap up this episode. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, we didn't get into some of the benefits, but let's hit that in the third installment and
All right,
the
perfect.
specific. All right, well, Russell, thank you so much for your excellent moderation, and thank you all for tuning in to the second installment on trademarks. Thanks for tuning in to Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at email@steinip.com. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Stein IP LLC.